Okay, this is lesson 8.2. We are going to determine solutions to systems of equations. First, we're going to solve the warm-ups. Please pause the video and do the warm-ups, then see if you got the right answer. All right, I'm going to add 5x to both sides. 3y equals 5x plus 12. I'm going to divide everything by 3. Y equals 5 over 3x plus 4. So I'm not done. That didn't answer the questions. They want to know what's your slope and your y-intercept. So I have to put m equals 5 over 3, b equals 4, because that's my slope. That's my slope. And that's my y-intercept. Okay? All right, number 2. Number 2, it's an inequality. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Notice how my work is neat. It's right underneath where it needs to be. There's a line. I can tell exactly what I'm doing. Negative 6x is greater than negative 24. Now I divide both sides by negative 6. Negative 6 over negative 6 is 1x, or x. Now, because I divided by a negative, I have to flip my inequality. Negative 24 divided by negative 6 is positive 4. Okay, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to take, and this is what we're doing for all of Unit 8. We're going to have a system of equations, and we're going to have to solve them. Systems of equations means that you have 2 equations, and you want to find out what the x and y value is. See? When you want to find the solution for x and y in both equations, we call this solution a system of equations. So, don't write this. I'm just saying, let's suppose I had y equals 3x plus 6 and y equals x plus 4. These are 2 equations that I could graph, couldn't I? Okay. If I graph them, I can find the answer by where the lines cross. What would I want the value for? What do I need to find the value for in these 2 equations? Yeah, I need to find the value for x and the value for y. So when I know the value for x and y, I know the answer for this system of equations. Okay? So, one way to do that is to graph the lines. Now we're going to start off with graph lines. Here I have 2 lines that are graphed. Where they cross is the answer. So, where do they cross at? I need to write it as an ordered pair. Where do they cross? They cross at 2 and 3. That's how I write my answer. It's an ordered pair. Your x is always first, your y is always second. How hard is this? We're going to have to graph in a second, but this is it. Where the 2 lines cross, that's your solution. Okay. Now, I can write, if I want to, I don't have to, I'm just saying if I want to, y equals, this is 2x minus 1. Right here, negative 1 is my y-intercept. I go up 4 over 2 to get my slope. 4 over 2 reduces to 2. So this one is 2x minus 1. This one doesn't have a real clean y-intercept, so I'm not going to write that equation. But these lines, what you need to see is these lines are equations. So, Tatiana, what is the answer to the system of equations for number 2? If you need to, you can go to the board. Or look on your paper. -3, what? -1. Excellent. -3, -1. Where the two lines cross, that is your answer. Okay? So now we're going to go a little bit. I mean, is anybody finding this confusing? No. Where the two lines cross, that's your answer. Well, now I have these two equations right here. So how do I solve this? Yes. Yep, I graph them, and where they cross, that's my answer. So let's see how this works. I'm going to go to -3, put a dot. I'm going to go down to 1, 2, 3, or up to 3. There's my first line. I'm just going to make 3 points. Now, I'm not going to fill in my line. I don't like to fill in my line. You can if you want. I don't like to do that. I like to graph the other one, -2. Now, oops, I want to make that a different color. Now, my slope is -1 over 1, so I go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. There's my answer, isn't it? Yeah. After I get my answer, that's when I like to fill in my lines. That's when I like to make my lines. I don't really make straight lines, so that's why I like to fill in my lines after. So here's my solution. 1, 2, 3. My x value is 3. My y value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is -5. That's it. That's all we're doing. Okay? Okay, so we would graph number 2. That would find our answer. Now, look at number 3. What do I have to do in number 3? Can I graph number 3? No. Nope, I have to isolate the y, don't I? So this becomes y equals -x plus 3, and this one becomes y equals 2x minus 6. I graph this. Where they cross is your answer. Okay? I want to say one last thing. Kids have been coming up all day saying, oh, I can't get an answer on this one. If you can't get an answer, make sure you graph them correctly. What most people are doing is, when they're supposed to go down and to the left, they go down and to the right. So make sure you check what you graphed. These will all have answers. Okay, if you're online, you have any questions, please come in. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Have a nice day.